Hey guys, Freeman here from Team Rec. Today I just wanted to go over some of the invoked combos with the deck and just go over some test hands in general, since the deck profile from a couple days ago did gain some steam, and just kind of wanted to show off some of the combos so that if you pick up this deck yourself, you kind of have an idea of what to do with it. So we're going to assume that we have 4 blank cards in our hand. We just have Aleister and we're not going to get hand trapped, just to kind of showcase what the deck can do. So we're going to normal summon Aleister, search our invocation. We're then going to link off our Aleister into a Salamangreat Almirage, and then you want to link off your Almirage into a Secure Gardener. And the reason you do this is because Secure Gardener is a light and it has to link off a Cyberse Link monster. This also puts a fire in your graveyard for the future in case you get to a Purgatrio sort of grind game. You then activate your invocation, which will banish your Secure Gardener and your Aleister to special summon a invoked Mechaba. Now Mechaba, remember you have 4 other cards in your hand, so it's definitely live, probably a mixture of monsters and spell cards. And then you want to activate your invocation effect in the graveyard to shuffle itself back to the deck and add the Aleister back to your hand. So you now have 5 cards in your hand, you have a Mechaba on the field. Whether you put it in attack or defense is up to you. If you put it in attack, you can easily defend it with an Aleister. If you put it in defense, it does help play around Lightning Storm a little more. And keep in mind, this is only 4 summons. You have your Aleister, your Almirage, your Secure Gardener, and your Mechaba. So if you do have more extenders in this case, you do have a live monster negate, so they cannot activate their Nibiru unless they have like Nibiru, Veiler, or something like that, in which case, they're just better than you. But this does also play around Nib to get to the Mechaba rather quickly. The next sort of little combo I guess we'll show off is the Aleister plus Branded Fusion combo. Since you do need to play this a little differently, you cannot go into the Link monsters, since Branded Fusion says you can only special summon fusion monsters from the extra deck that turn. So it'll start off similarly, where you normal summon your Aleister, grab your invocation. Now instead of Link summoning, since we can't do that, since we have the Branded Fusion, we'll activate our Branded Fusion. We need to send a light monster. I normally send Ecclesia, since we have 3 in the deck, and we're not playing any light hand traps. And then we send the Fallen of Albaz, obviously. We then summon out our Albion. We'll activate Albion's effect to banish itself and Fallen of Albaz from our graveyard, to summon out a Mirror Jade. Now Mirror Jade is an interruption for their turn, so on their turn we can send another copy of Albion from our extra deck to the graveyard to banish a card, and then in the end phase we'll get to search another Branded Fusion. And then from here, we do have our invocation still, so we can go ahead and banish the light in our graveyard that we sent off Branded Fusion, in this case Ecclesia, and our Aleister to go ahead and summon a Mechaba again. Now we did basically the same play without Link summoning, and then obviously invocation effect in the graveyard, shuffle that back, get our Aleister back in our hand, and we still have 3 more cards in our hand as well. So in this situation, if we had like another extender, for example, like an Ecclesia, you want to wait, obviously, till after you're done extra deck summoning. So then we can special summon our Ecclesia to go ahead and search. We'd probably just search for Punishment or Fleur in this case. Punishment's really good if you're playing kind of like against a slower, more kind of deck. Obviously, the Fleur is a negate as well as a pretty good body. I normally go for Punishment personally. I just really like this card, being able to send Elder, being able to send, Ash Dragon, or even another Albion, just to go search in the end phase. And then, so we have the Punishment, and then we still have another card or 2 in our hand, as well as Aleister follow-up for next turn. So we have Mechaba negate, we have the Mirror Jade banish, we have a Punishment interruption potentially, as well as follow-up for next turn. So it's pretty difficult to die through this. Again, if you don't have the Dogmatika stuff, you're basically ending on this plus 3 cards in hand, which are normally either decent spell cards, hand traps, follow-up, or just could be used as a negate for this. So unless their hand's really good, you're going to survive till next turn and be able to basically do the same plays all over again. So I figured I'll just show you guys a couple of quick test hands to kind of give you guys an idea of what an average game can look like. Invoked is by no means the best deck, but I definitely think it's a viable rogue option in the format. There are games where you'll normal summon Aleister, it'll get Veilered or Imperms, and you just have to pass your turn. Those games kind of suck, but it is what it is. The most important part about the combos is to just be sure you do the Dogmatika stuff at the end of your turn, since it will lock you out of the extra deck, right? So definitely wait to do those. So we're going to go ahead and draw our 5 here. We're assuming we're going first. We have Meltdown, Branded Fusion, Invocation, Maximus, and Droplet. So pretty solid hand overall. If there's any complaints about it, drawing Invocation obviously is not ideal. But in this case, if they do have a hand trap for your Aleister, you already have the Invocation, so you just kind of bait them into it. So we'd start off this turn by activating our Magical Meltdown, going to search our Aleister. If they were to Ash here, we have the Branded Fusion follow-up, which they do not have Ash for, and most people will not Ash a Magical Meltdown, in my experience at least. We then normal summon our Aleister, activate its effect. Again, in this case, we already have the Invocation, so if they were to hand trap, we still have all of our plays. However, if we did not have the Invocation and they were to hand trap this, we do have the Branded Fusion follow-up as well, so pretty decent hand we have here. We'll go ahead and search our second Invocation. And then this is basically the combo we just showcased, so we do not want to link this off. We want to activate our Branded Fusion next. We'll go ahead and send an Ecclesia and a Fallen of Albaz to the graveyard. Go ahead and Fusion summon Albion. Now keep in mind, Magical Meltdown's pretty crazy to where they just can't interact a lot of the time. Go ahead and use Albion's effect on Summon, banish itself and the Fallen of Albaz to get out a Mirror Jade. Now, doing the combo this way, since you have to go for Mechaba second, you can get nibbed. Luckily, it's not very popular in the format right now, so hopefully that doesn't happen. Then we'll go ahead and activate the Invocation, banishing our Ecclesia and our Aleister into Mechaba, activating Invocation's effect, shuffle it back to add the Aleister back to our hand. And then unfortunately, the Maximus and Invocation are kind of bricks, since we don't have an extra deck monster in graveyard, obviously, for the Maximus. What we could do is like Mirror Jade banish itself to get something in the graveyard, search, and like, not very good, right? So we'd set our Droplet here and play around Mech Knights, of course. So we have our Mechaba, either spell or monster negate. We have Droplets for more negates, and we have the Mirror Jade interruption as well as follow-up Aleister for next turn, which is pretty decent, as well as Mirror Jade's going to send another Albion to the graveyard to search another Branded Fusion, so not too bad overall. Definitely a solid first hand. Any hand you can get to Aleister successfully, I'd say, is a solid hand. The games where you don't see Aleister are normally the games you lose. Although Branded Fusion on its own can sometimes carry a game, so definitely keep that in mind. I'd like to see a hand without Branded Fusion. Give me like an Ecclesia Aleister hand here. Branded Fusion, Ecclesia, DD Crow, Meltdown, Nadir Servant. Okay, so this hand's obviously insane. We're going to go Magical Meltdown, grab out our Aleister here. Going to go ahead and normal summon that Aleister, search out an Invocation, activate our Branded Fusion, go ahead and send Fallen of Albaz, Ecclesia to the graveyard, special summon Albion, use Albion's effect, banishing Fallen of Albaz and Albion, special summon out Mirror Jade. Go ahead and activate our Invocation, Aleister and Ecclesia into a Mechaba. Invocation's effect in the graveyard, shuffle itself back to the deck, add a banished Aleister back to the hand. Definitely don't forget to do that. That effect is once per turn, so you want to make sure you're remembering. Then from here, we're done special summoning from the extra deck, so we'll go ahead and activate Nadir Servant. we can either send Apkalon to go ahead and get Schism, Ash Dragon to get a search in the end phase, Albion to get a search in the end phase. We're going to go ahead and send... Let's go for Schism here. So let's send Apkalon. Send that to the graveyard. Search. We already have the Ecclesia, so I'm going to go ahead and search Fleur. And then we have our Ecclesia special summon itself out. Oh, we actually forgot, we have to resolve our Apkalon. Don't forget that. Search our Schism, discard a card. We'll get rid of our DD Crow, since all the other cards in our hand are quite good. Special summon our Ecclesia out. Ecclesia effect to go search. I'll personally go for Punishment here, just because, you know, Punishment plus Natis plus Schism, along with Mechaba, Mirror Jade on the board, is definitely going to be tough to break. Then we set our Punishment, set our Schism. We have Aleister in our hand and Fleur in our hand. So basically where this leaves us is we have a Mechaba negate. Ideally, we want to do it kind of early in the turn. In this case, we actually managed to discard a Dark Monster, so our Schism is live. But if, for example, that was not a Dark Monster, our Mechaba could negate a monster effect discarding a Dark Monster to then make our Schism live to be able to go for Winda. We do have the Mirror Jade effect to be able to send an Albion to the graveyard to banish, which also gets a Dark Monster to our graveyard because Albion is dark, which then makes the Schism live so we can get to a Winda. We have our Punishment to be able to interrupt sending a Natis to potentially destroy 2 cards, or just sending a Dark Monster to make our Schism live as well. A lot of options here. And we have follow-up as well in the form of Aleister if for whatever reason we don't need to Mechaba negate something. We also have the Fleur. Obviously, we have an extra deck monster. We have a Dogmatika monster. So this is a negate monster negate as well. So this is a pretty tough board to play through. We pretty much do the Exodia hand of Aleister, Brand Infusion, plus Nadir Servant. If you lose from here, they opened Godly, and there's just not much you could do about that. I just kind of want to maybe showcase a hand of like getting hand trapped, if that sounds right. Just to kind of... because obviously not every game goes as planned with your opening hand. So if, for example, we opened, let's say we have 3 bricks, Aleister, and Ecclesia. So we would go normal summon Aleister and the hand trap. We don't have the invocation. We have, let's say we have like Droplet, Chalice, and Change of Heart or something, right? So our hand is pretty bad. From here, we'd have to like link summon off, go for Almirage, and then we want to link this again into Security Garden to get an extra monster in our graveyard to potentially go for Maximus here. Obviously, Maximus Blind isn't the greatest, but in this case, if your hand is this bad, you need the Maximus pluses for yourself, so it's probably worth the risk. Since we have an extra deck monster, we can now special summon Ecclesia and activate it here. Go ahead and search out Maximus, and then Maximus effect to go ahead and banish Almirage to special summon itself, and then Maximus can activate its effect here. So we can either go for the Schism again, which is probably decent, and then we either have Ash Dragon or Albion. I'd probably go for Albion here, and then maybe get their pluses if they're playing cards like this. And then Apkalon would go off, searching our Schism, and then discarding a brick. Leave that as a blank there. And then we have our Schism set, and then in the end phase, we get to search a Brand Infusion follow-up for next turn. And we do have a live Winda as well. So we did get hand trapped. We had the Dogmatika follow-up, which isn't the worst. Obviously, if they activate a card that's going to special summon, we chain to banish probably Aleister and Apkalon here to get out our Winda, and obviously Winda says both players can only special summon once per turn. So if they manage to break through this, we do have the Brand Infusion follow-up, of course, and we do have the 2 potential other bricks in our hand that will probably become more live the longer the game goes on. So that's just kind of a quick video to show you guys some quick invoked combos. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe to the Team Wreck Yu-Gi-Oh channel and drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Thanks, guys.